A married couple, desperate for a son to carry on the family line and inherit their properties, heartlessly abandoned their newborn daughter into the sea. However, this scene was witnessed by a wealthy man who had been overwhelmed with grief and contemplating a dark decision. Shocked by what he saw, he immediately dropped the bottle in his hand, rushed into the water, and rescued the infant. Holding the tiny, helpless baby, and remembering that this day was the memorial of his late wife and daughter, he felt this meeting must have been arranged by fate. He whispered, "Your parents didn't want you, but I, Chun, will raise you." Time passed quickly. 13 years later, the abandoned baby girl had grown into a lively, beautiful young woman. Through perseverance, she earned admission to a prestigious university. When her adoptive father saw the acceptance letter in her hands, he was filled with pure joy. But the girl looked troubled. She knew her family wasn't wealthy. Her father had kept the household running for years by selling fish, and she knew he could not possibly afford high tuition fees. Yet, her father pulled out a thick stack of money from his pocket. She was startled. "Where did you get so much? The weather's been terrible. Did you go out to sea again?" He quickly denied it. Then she noticed blood on his arm. Alarmed, she asked what happened. Not wanting her to know he had secretly gone out fishing again, he claimed he had simply slipped. But being kind-hearted and observant, she realized he must have gone into dangerous waters to earn extra money. She declared that she would study hard, start a major company someday, and give him a good life. Her father waved his hands urgently, saying he didn't need her to make money. He only wanted her to stay safe and healthy. Just as he finished speaking, the girl suddenly collapsed, coughing up blood, and lost consciousness. He rushed her to the hospital, where doctors told him that she had a serious congenital liver condition, and only a liver transplant could save her. Without hesitation, he said, "Then do the matching test right away." The assistant hesitated and said, "Her condition is very rare. At the moment, only your organ is compatible." Without thinking twice, the man agreed to donate half of his liver to save her. The assistant, confused, said, "But she's not even related to you by blood. You don't have to go this far." He replied, "I lost my wife and daughter once. For all these years, I've treated her like my own. I won't lose the only family I have left." Seeing his determination, the assistant said no more. The father added, "Don't tell her. I don't want her to worry." And so, he secretly underwent the transplant for his daughter. 10 years later, the girl had become the chairwoman of the region's largest business group, a rising star admired by everyone. One day, her biological parents recognized her on the news. Seeing the daughter they once abandoned now as a billionaire CEO, they immediately developed selfish intentions. The biological parents, unable to approach the young woman directly, contacted her assistant instead. The assistant later spoke to the girl and said gently, "Did you know? Chun Changzhou isn't your biological father." "I know," she replied calmly, "but he raised me as his own. I don't forget the kindness people show me." Moments later, her biological parents entered the office, appearing emotional. They said, "We've been looking for you for so many years. It's been 20 years since we lost you. We are your biological parents." They presented a small keepsake from her infancy, saying it had been with her since she was a baby. They spoke about traveling long distances to search for her, and said they had even sold their home to continue the search. She was startled. "You went that far, all just to find me?" They showed her a notebook filled with records of the expenses they claimed they had spent at various offices during their search. "We don't have much," they said, "but everything we saved for you." Hearing this, she became emotional. She imagined them living modestly for her sake and thought, "They must have cared about me deeply. They've carried this burden for so many years." Moved by the story, she embraced them. Later, at her engagement banquet, she stood before her relatives and the many guests present. "As the president of Jishan Group and a young business leader of the province, I am preparing to take on even greater responsibilities. Today, the person I want to thank the most is someone who gave me everything. He is here with us. Without him, I wouldn't be who I am today." The guests whispered among themselves, believing she was referring to the man who raised her, someone who had once undergone major surgery to save her life. But to everyone's surprise, she called her biological father to the stage, and her adoptive father could only watch, feeling deeply disappointed.